Welcome back, patreon.com/the Derrick Lamon Experience, your one-stop shop for your gaming news. No big preamble. You already know what we do. Saturdays, 2 p.m. in the afternoon for paid subscribers over here on the Patreon. Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. for everyone on the free feeds. If you're looking for great exclusive audio and some video content, tell your friends and family as well as yourself. Come on over, patreon.com/the Derrick Lamon Experience. Let's just go ahead and get into it. It's been a week. We finally got word of what was going down at Microsoft. So we can report on that, and we will just here in a second. We're going to take care of some other business first. As I'm recording this, EA Sports College Football 27 will be available to play at 11 p.m. tonight. Am I going to stay up and play it? Probably. I won't go deep into it. I'll probably just set up my Road to Glory character and then go from there. But yeah, we're ready to go. However, a lot of people are pissed off, especially my guy Bordeaux, who is a huge content creator. I found him playing College Football Revamped, which was EA College Football 2014, because before we got Football 25, that was the last game for a full 10 years. So when we got word that the series is coming back, we were all very, very excited. And when we got the game, we're like, yeah, this is fucking dope. Why? Because it was 10 years. Everybody had their list of things like, this is good. Here's what we need to see for next year. So this year, they kind of started to listen a little bit. Mascot mashup is back. More positions in Road to Glory, stuff like that. Dynasty now, like you kind of have to make sure that your athletic director is happy with you and stuff like that. But apparently they snuck some other shit in there. So anyway, this comes from GameSpot.com. Asks players what their favorite mode is in EA's revitalized college football series, and most will tell you it's Dynasty or Road to Glory, which gives players control of an entire school football program or a creative player, respectively. Unlike Ultimate Team, EA's long-standing pay-to-win mode seen in all of its sports games, these modes have largely been untouched by microtransactions. But College Football 27 has crossed the line, according to many players who have voiced their frustrations online. Dynasty and Road to Glory now each allow you to pay to instantly improve your coach or athlete rather than improve them over time through play, which is some absolute bullshit. To hit the coach level cap of 100 players should need to spend 12,000 points, which equates to $100 if bought in bulk. Everybody asks me, what happened to you? You used to play a lot of NBA 2K, and that's the truth. I did. I loved grinding my player. Then I look up and everybody's like 99 on day one. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? They're like, go to the park and play. I'm like, buddy, you haven't been in the park all fucking, like the game just came out. There's no way you grinded up to 99. And you can tell, like you can see people's levels when they're going around the city. That was another thing I didn't like. They tried to make it a sports RPG. That was a bit much. But you can see people's levels. And then also you kind of know what level somebody's in by how they're getting around navigating the city. Skateboard, then little go-karts and shit. I'm like, what is going on? So come to find out, a lot of these people are spending money on VC to upgrade their player. Now, at the same time, because of that, the game itself started giving you less VC for having good games, getting so many points, steals, assists. And I'm like, this is bullshit. Your player's literally walking around in the standard 2K my player, brown t-shirt, gray jogs, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing here? I ain't no fresh kicks. Then they made it where you had to get you had to get a shoe contract with Nike, Jordan Brand, et cetera, just to get a shooting sleeve and stuff like that. You had to spend money, and I'm like, you got people in the park day one, level 99, decked out, tattoos, all that. They locked all of that behind microtransactions. And I'm just like, this is absolute bullshit. And I became very disenchanted with the game and didn't want to play it at that point. Everybody's like, jump in the park. I'm like, bro, I didn't even buy 2K this year. There have been a few, like, I used to buy 2K every year. 2K, Madden. I wasn't a every year Call of Duty adopter, every few years. But Madden and 2K, I bought every year. And I stopped that. I still buy Madden. And I have more incentive to buy Madden now, but not really, because once college football came back, it's like, okay, send your Road to Glory player over to Madden, and then you take over from there. That hasn't actually been a great transition, right? So I'm really disenchanted. This really pisses me off. Again, Dynasty and Road to Glory now each allow you to pay to instantly improve your coach or athlete rather than improve them over time through play. To hit the coach level cap of 100, players would need to spend 12,000 points, which equates to $100 if bought in bulk. So if you're playing online Dynasty, if you're not putting the money in through the microtransactions and somebody in your Dynasty is, they're probably going to beat the shit out of you. They're going to have a better coaching staff and stuff like that. This is absolute bullshit. The early access Ultimate Edition of the game includes 4,600 points, meaning even the most expensive version of College Football 27 seems designed to ask players to fork over more money or else trudge through a remarkable grind. As one player on Twitter explained, you can see that breakdown below. So this is from Saturday Studio. Shout out to them. Well, EA has completely missed the mark with the Coach XP system in College Football 27 Dynasty. To reach a level 100, you need approximately 2.5 billion XP. That's fucking crazy. A full national championship run earns just 3,750 XP plus 12,500 XP with the CEO ability equals 16,250 XP total. Now that means, let me see the full tweet. That means you need to play 150 plus playoff seasons just to reach max level. Think about that. You're telling me I have to win over 150 playoff runs or spend real money on green points. This has no place in Dynasty mode. Dynasty has always been about building a program over time, not being pushed toward microtransactions to progress your coach. And this is true. EA is no, they're Bordeaux actually reached out like, hey, he's like, there was a hashtag and he's like, EA don't play. And he's like, until they fix this, I'm not fucking with this game. And he was like, even if they don't ever work with me again, I'm not doing this. This is wrong. And he's right. And the fact of the matter is, EA cannot sit here and feign innocence when they've done this before. Star Wars Battlefront 2, it had to be like 10 years ago, maybe not a full 10, something like that. So Darth Maul, Darth Vader, all these characters, it's like you want to play with them. And in order to play with them, the money that you would like to earn the points in the XP to be able and credits to be able to get them, I forgot what the amount of time you had to invest in the game was. Let's see. See if anybody remembers. To earn Darth Maul in Star Wars Battlefront 2, how many credits do you need? 4,000 battle points during a multiplayer match. No, this is bullshit. There's more to it than this. I remember it being a huge thing. Let's see. Star Wars Battlefront 2 microtransactions controversy. There we go. Okay. Star Wars Battlefront 2 controversy erupted in November 2017. So, like I said, almost 10 years next year. Players were outraged by the game's heavy reliance on pay-to-win mechanics and random loot boxes. Gamers who spent real money could unlock powerful upgrades and characters, giving them an unfair advantage over those who played normally. The situation escalated before the game's official release when a fan calculated, here we go, it would take roughly 40 hours of gameplay. That's a full work week based on Henry Ford instituting the 40-hour work week. 40 hours of gameplay to unlock a single hero character like Darth Vader. When the development studio Electronic Arts responded on Reddit that the system was designed to give players a sense of accomplishment, it became the most downvoted comment in Reddit history. The severe backlash forced EA to make major changes to the game. Removal of paid currency. Hours before launch, EA temporarily removed all microtransactions from the game. Complete progression overhaul. The developers removed the ability to buy star cards with real money and moved to a linear progression system where players earn items strictly through gameplay. Cosmetic only items. Microtransactions were eventually reintroduced in 2018, but they were limited strictly to cosmetic items like character outfits. This controversy also triggered global political action because the game's randomized loot boxes require players to pay real money for a random chance at an in-game advantage. Governments around the world, including the Belgian Gaming Commission, investigated the game for promoting underage gambling. This is a thing. I remember this very well. So yeah, EA did not learn their fucking lesson. They simply didn't. So here we are again. Infusing modes like these with optional microtransactions isn't unheard of. It's an annual pain point in my 2K reviews, what I said earlier. Regularly annoys that the community, even Madden has begun letting players pay to upgrade their superstar, but College Football 27 takes this a step further by significantly changing the series' customizable XP settings. In the last two college football games, players could adjust XP sliders for their coach or player to level up faster. This was a welcome touch, since some players don't want to play the mode for many seasons. Some players get their fill after just one or a few seasons, but still want to experience the full coach progression arc in that span. Tied to these new pay to level options in Dynasty and Road to Glory is the glaring absence of these XP sliders. Players can no longer tweak settings to level up faster or fastest. The speediest option is now the default in both modes, while slower options still exist in Dynasty. You'd have to be pretty naive to think these changes happening together are a coincidence. It seems in order to drive more in-game purchases, EA has slowed progression in college football's most beloved modes, and players are responding as you'd expect. On Twitter, a popular CFB streamer is mobilizing players to boycott the in-game pay-to-level options using the hashtag CFPB Play Don't Pay. At the time of writing this article, the hashtag is trending at number 8 on the website. Meanwhile, on Reddit, some players are promising to skip the game because this new in-game purchase scheme has rubbed them the wrong way. This is Bordeaux who started this. Shout out to Bordeaux. GameSpot has reached out to EA for comment. This article will be updated when the company responds. So as of now, they have yet to respond. Again, this is out at midnight. I already pre-ordered my copy before this controversy came out. I'd already pre-ordered before I knew this was a thing. This pisses me off. I don't know if I'm going to want to play Dynasty or like we all wanted to play Road to Glory. We were so amped. Like, we're getting Road to Glory. We're getting the 12-team college football playoff. This is going to be so cool. EA promised us so much. And then we get the game, and it's like, okay, it just came out. We got to give them a minute. They got to get it together. And this is the fucking result that we get. Like, this is really pissing a lot of people off. And with good fucking reason. They have every reason to be fucking pissed off. Every reason to be pissed off. So yeah, man. If you're listening to this on Patreon, or even if you're not listening to this on Patreon, when we get to the fall, I will have a separate Road to Glory strictly to play for Patreon. I did it last year. I went through a full um from high school all the way till the time I walked off of campus. There were some years like where there was a year I redshirted. There were some years I rode the bench the whole year. I transferred. I started at SMU, rode the bench, transferred to Cincinnati, played good. They brought in some other kid. I sat the bench. This kid fucked up. They brought me back in. It was a whole thing. And then I forget where I went after that. Actually, no, I started at Virginia Tech, never took a snap, transferred to SMU, played. They didn't like the way I was playing. They sat me. I transferred to I used the portal a lot. I'm not going to lie. There's going to be a Road to Glory playthrough. Once we get to the fall, I cannot wait to do that. This is very alarming though. I'm not happy about this. Um, it's just not okay. Like point blank period. It's just not okay. Like we don't need to do this. And it like I said, EA, this is not the first time they've come under fire for this shit. And then the same thing I said, this started happening in NBA 2K, and that's why I stopped playing the game. And they referenced that in the article. So do with that what you will. I'm just telling you the stance I'm going to take. I'm not going to pay if I get in the game and they've locked like Nikes and Jordan brand sneakers and shit like that, and certain gloves and cosmetics behind the paywall, then I'll be like, this is fucking crazy, dog. Like, this is really fucking crazy. And it's not that far fetched because we know NBA 2K has done it. So I don't know. In other news, coming off the news last week that they would be stopping production on physical media for the PlayStation, there's conversation about Sony also increasing the price of PS Plus. I know a lot of people, I'm not calling it performative. A lot of people are calling it performative. Do what you want to do. A lot of people went on their PlayStation and canceled their PlayStation Plus, and they had already like paid up months in advance. So it's like, I think it was Dustin Furman from Sacred Symbols, which is Colin, part of Colin's last stand media, Colin Moriarty's thing. He showed that he had canceled, and I think his didn't actually truthfully canceled till October 10th of this year. I was just like, why am I paying the monthly? I'm gonna do 3 months at a time. It's the better value. So I recently did that. Mine is up in September, and at that point I will renew. A lot of people are like, this is performative. You guys are just fucking like, but they're fucking up. Like when Microsoft announced the increase of the Xbox prices last week, I'm like, hey, not for nothing. This is going to happen to Sony and Nintendo. It's coming. We know the Switch 2 price is going up in September. We know the Nintendo Switch Online is going to go up as well. Anyway, this comes from our friends over at Insider Gaming. Top Sony executives discussed the potential rise in PlayStation Plus prices. Gaming is in a tumultuous time across all platforms. Hardware prices are increasing. Also, subscription prices remain a major talking point. In Japan, Nintendo recently raised the price of its Nintendo Switch Online subscription service. I did not know that, but I told you it was coming. Microsoft recently lowered the prices of its Xbox Game Pass subscription service, but announced another increase in hardware prices. Um, Sony explains its strategy for future PlayStation Plus pricing. During a recent translated Q&A from the company meeting in June, Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO and President Hideki Nishino, Studio Business CEO Herman Holst, and Senior Vice President of Finance and Corporate Development Len Azar addressed the potential increase in PlayStation Plus prices and the service's essential role in the PlayStation business model. It's not explicitly stated who answered the question, but the executives were asked how people should think about the pace and scale of future price increases for the subscription platform. In response, they stated they are always trying to balance the value of the service against consumer costs, as that they are using multiple factors to improve profitability and the efficiency of content acquisition. Quote, PS Plus offers strong value to players, and we continually balance the value against customer costs. We're using multiple levels to improve profitability, including price, tier mix, content acquisition efficiency. Higher tiers now account for 40% of subscribers, which reflects strong demand for the service. PS Plus remains a key driver of profitability, and we reached a record high PS Plus profitability in fiscal year 2025. Um, they're saying everything but the prices are going up, but anybody with a half a brain knows that the prices are going up. That's just where we are. I'm not giving them, like, they've already come out and said we're not going to sell the PlayStation 6 at a loss. We're just not. So Jack and BG keep having this conversation on Weapon Wheel podcast whether the PlayStation 6 will come in at an entry point of $1,000. If it came at 900 before tax, I would be surprised. I am not kidding. We are at that point. We are at the point where those of us who have every console, every generation, next generation, that's not going to be a reality. It just isn't. Everything is going up but our wages. And they're making it very hard. Like, it's already hard, like, for the average human to live an everyday life and be able to afford groceries and gas and stuff like that. They've made it hard already for that. They're only making it harder. Yes, the RAM situation presents a problem. If people remember, we had a RAM shortage at the beginning of this generation because this generation started during the pandemic lockdown. Now we're in a RAM crisis because they're buying up all the RAM for AI. This AI boom has got to stop. The bubble has got to burst. I fully expect the price of PlayStation Plus to go up. I know Microsoft lowered the price. I expect the price of Game Pass to go back up. Nintendo obviously is raising the price of Nintendo Switch Online in Japan. Expect that change to come to the United States. This is not one size fits all. They're all going to do it. They're all going to increase the price of their consoles. They're all going to raise their subscription prices. Games next generation, as a result of Mario Kart World 8 coming in at $80, as a result of Grand Theft Auto 6 coming in at $80. Games next generation, I fully expect to be $80, and that would be the base amount. Y'all thought it was a joke when y'all wanted to make all your fucking Fred Flintstone videos and Shaggy humping on Velma and all that TikTok, all this AI bullshit, and y'all thought it was a joke. Here we are. Everybody keeps making the fuck around and find out chart. We're in the find out portion. And y'all all thought it was a joke. So here the fuck we are. I don't know what to tell you guys. In other news, from our friends over at Digital Foundry. So the Steam Machine was this thing that was kind of lurking in the background for so long, and it made people reevaluate their plans. It certainly, I don't care what PlayStation says, Yes, the sales of PlayStation first party titles on PC weren't great. Them saying, "Hey, we're done with putting our tentpole titles on PC" is a direct result of two things. Microsoft developing a console slash PC hybrid, that said a product also having the Steam store, the Epic Game Store, et cetera, et cetera. So if you had bought a Sony PlayStation first party game a la Spider Man or God of War or anything like that, you would be able to boot that game up on Xbox hardware. So yes, the sales of those games on the Steam store might have played a small part. I'm sure it played a part. I can tell you that Sony found out just like the rest of us, and they were like, "There's no fucking way you're booting up a PlayStation first party game on this Xbox hardware. It's just not happening. Sorry." The Steam machine also played a part in that as well. Anyway, early Steam Machine user mourns red line of death before getting PC working again. Valve offers new guidance and warns of flipped error codes. Here we go. Early Steam Machine units have started to reach early pre order customers. So far, it's been quite an excitable mood on the Steam Machine subreddit. For you, me underscore hill, though, the tone has been slightly different as the user reported that their Steam machine started showing a red line of death on the front mounted LED display following an apparent GPU issue after playing No Man's Sky and then performing a firmware update. Hearing the red line of death is crazy because I lived through the red ring of death with Xbox 360. Following the error, the unit doesn't seem to be usable at all. It's not clear whether the problem can be fixed in software, but hopefully the normally capable Steam support staff will be up to the task of either replacing the unit or walking the user through a fix. As you might have gathered, the LED indicator on the front can be used to signify all manner of things while the Steam machine is on, such as download and update progress, for instance, but it's also providing fault codes if the device suffers any issues that prevent it from booting. Steam support website provides several explanations of these fault codes, including a full red bar, the device is overheating, a blinking red bar in the fourth quadrant, no RAM detected, a blinking red bar in the second quadrant, no SSD detected, a blinking red bar in the first half, memory training failed, and a blinking red bar on the right half, GPU failure. It's a nice alternative to a segmented LED display, but it does rather open the door to classic red ring of death comparisons. Yes, it does. Hopefully, this is just a one-off rather than a common failure, but I guess we'll find out more. Find out as more Steam Machine purchase emails are sent and more units start to reach customers. This person who wrote this article says, "I'm still in the queue for the 512 gigabyte model here in the UK for what it's worth." So there's an update on this. The Reddit user with the operable Steam machine was able to get it working again the next day by leaving the device unplugged and then turning it on again and leaving it while a Valve employee reached out with advice for anyone facing similar issues to get to the bottom of the issue more rapidly. Interestingly, the Valve rep mentioned the light bar codes are reversed from what they intended, meaning the code that ought to indicate GPU failure instead means memory training failed, which explains how leaving the machine unplugged to clear the CMOS and then starting again, leaving it alone, fixed the issue. The Valve support doc doesn't seem to reflect this at present. They need to update that. It's too, like, I remember when they were saying PlayStation 3s were catching on fire. I remember getting mine and like, because it came out November of 2006. So we're around the Thanksgiving dinner table 2 weeks later. Everybody's like, "I heard you got one of those PlayStation 3s." I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Did yours blow up yet?" I'm like, "No." And like, "They're catching on fire." I'm like, "I haven't had an issue." People started reporting the red ring of death. Have you had that issue? I'm like, "No, mine is good." I didn't. So the Xbox 360 came out November of 2005. I did get mine at launch. I didn't run into the red ring of death until 2009. So 4 years. Um, and then I dealt with my PlayStation not working, my PlayStation 3. I sent it in to be fixed. They fixed it, started working. It failed on me again. I took it to the shop. They fixed it. After a while, it failed on me again. And then I ended up just buying the slim one. I still had the launch one because I love that model. I still think it's probably the greatest console design I've ever seen. That one and the slim were stolen when my apartment was broken to March 28th of 2012. And the reason I know the date is because that's my parents' wedding anniversary. But yeah, so not new to this, unfortunately, very fucking true to this. This has happened to many people before me, and many people after me will endure this. This is the unfortunate portion. A lot of people say don't be day one adopters, let them work the bugs out, this, that, and the third. My PlayStation 5 So you get a year warranty with it at purchase. Um, that or was it a year or 2? I think it was a year. Anyway, that Grand Theft Auto, trilogy remastered edition that came out for the PlayStation 5, I remember that came out literally a day before the anniversary of the PlayStation 5 release, which means your warranty is up on that date. The very next day, I start getting this error code, and I'd be playing my PlayStation, and it would just shut off. And then finally, I'm like, "This is some bullshit." And I hit Sony up. They're like, yeah, it's $200 to repair. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? And they were like, well, wait a minute, tell me what the error code is. And I told them, and they were like, okay, so it happened to you too. So there was some error code that it kept throwing, and they were like, we're not gonna charge you for this. I'm gonna send you this, you print this out, we're gonna send you a box, pack up your PlayStation, take it somewhere to ship it back to us, and we'll get it back to you. So when Horizon Forbidden West came out and Seafood came out and Kena Bridge of Spirits, I started playing those on my PlayStation 4 Pro because my PlayStation 5 had went back to Sony. Now, I will say the turnaround time was very quick. I had my PlayStation 5 back in 2 weeks. I've had no issues with it since then. They had to do a firmware update on the PlayStation 5 Pro. You'd be playing, and then all of a sudden the screen would just go green and your PlayStation would turn off. And I'm assuming they fixed that through firmware because I haven't had any issues with it since then. This does happen. So some people do say wait till they get the bugs out. I will tell you at this point, given what's going on in the world, if you can afford to be a day one adopter, be a day one adopter. They're like, don't do it day one. That's stupid. Well, for all you people who didn't buy your PlayStation 5 or your Xbox Series X and Series S day one or before the price increases, or your PlayStation 5 Pro before the price increases, I know you're looking around at the rest of us like, damn, I wish I had the money to get it day one like the rest of them. Because now the price is fucking astronomical. That's why I'm a day one adopter. That and that only. Again, as I stated, this next generation, no, I'm not gonna have the PlayStation 6 and the Xbox Helix. It'll be a while before Nintendo comes to market with another console, I'd imagine. So that'll give me some runway before I have to, come out of pocket for another console. But this is just bad. This is bad. The Steam Machine situation is in particularly terrible because it's $1,000. They're like, well, it's a PC. That's not the price they intended, buddy. Stop telling yourself it's a PC and that's how much a PC costs. It's not the price they intended. The situation with the memory situation affected them just like it affected everybody else. That's not the price point that they originally envisioned for this thing. I need you guys to stop being fucking stupid. Okay? Anyway. So, in other news, this came from Reset Era, and we will find out more about this in a second. Apparently, the rumor was is that Xbox division is bracing for potentially far-reaching layoffs early as next week, according to The Verge. As many as 5 studios could be closed as a result, including Lyon-based Dishonored developer Arcane. Rumors suggest that more than 1,000 staff could lose their jobs, and we understand that Rare may be affected in restructuring. Um, was told last night that Rare's in the block, free one for you, friends. And this is from Patrick Garrett on Blue Sky. Someone said this is going from bad to worse. What the fuck? But quite frankly, with how everything has been talked about lately, I really just want Microsoft to confirm everything themselves, but we aren't getting that this weekend, most likely. We knew it was coming at the top of the weekend. We're going to get to this in a second because this is our top story. But just prepare yourself. So in the midst of all of this, the memory situation, the foreign tariffs, everything that's going on that's causing the inflated prices of hardware and subscription services, somebody else decided to release a new handheld PC. During the latest Neo product sharing session, the company CEO showcased the Windows handheld on camera and confirmed that overseas shipments are planned to start by the end of July. The live stream also showed packaged units and close-up shots of the device. It's a very pretty device, I'm not going to lie. Memory pricing hit the project hard. The live stream made it clear that the Neo is not happy with the situation. The CEO described the system as really beautiful and repeatedly referred to the amount of work and R&D investment behind the design. Neo also showed a slide stating that due to the ongoing memory cost increase, Next 2 is temporarily unavailable for restock. The company says it will provide updates and arrange future availability when conditions improve. This follows Aeneo's early decision to stop selling Next 2. In March, the company said storage prices had increased after the Chinese New Year, pushing the total product cost close to twice the original selling price. Existing backers were told that production would continue, but new sales were suspended. Currently, company has reopened order for one of the variants. Um, so the Ryzen AI Max 385 with 32 gigs of memory and a terabyte of storage, $2,999, a whopping $3,000. Ryzen AI Max Plus 395 with 64 gigs and 1 terabyte, $3,699, the only model available for pre-order. Ryzen AI Max 395 with 128 gigs and 2 terabytes, $5,299, $5,300. 3,000, 3,700, 5,300. SKU choices do not help. Where is Max Plus 388 and 24 gig option? During the live stream, it was clear that the CEO was gutted about the project. The company spent so much time on the next two, but the handheld is launching at the worst possible time. Neo is not without blame here. Its configuration choices simply do not make much sense right now, and the company has other options. It offers 32 gigs, 64 gigs, and 128 gig memory configurations, but there's no 16 gig model and no bare bone version. A barebone option may be difficult because Neo ships its own software stack and likely wants a full validation for each system. Still, it would have offered a lower cost route for users who only want the hardware. Since it's LPDDR5X memory, Neo could also add a 24 gig model, which would be enough for many gamers. It makes less sense if the company is also trying to sell this as an AI device, which, let's be honest, is not how most buyers would use it. We're buying this for games. Well, we're not buying it, but if we were to buy it, we would buy it for games. Excuse me. In my opinion, the company should drop the Ryzen AI Max 395 entirely, along with the 64 gig and 128 gig memory options, and shift focus toward the Ryzen AI Max 388. This is an 8-core variant that still ships with the full Radeon 8060S graphics configuration with 40 GPU cores. The Ryzen AI Max 385 listed by A&EO uses Radeon 805 850S graphics instead. It is also worth noting that AMD has almost completely abandoned promoting Strix Halo as a gaming product. The chip is now marketed as a Ryzen AI Max platform for home AI PCs, with large unified memory pools as one of its main selling points. AMD probably has little interest in pushing it as a gaming platform at this stage, which does not help A&EO. This kind of reminds me of the Threadripper. The platform also started closer to good old head, but has since become an ultra premium workstation product. Bad time to be launching hardware. Terrible time. As obviously the Steam machine has showed us, it's a bad time if you already have hardware in the market space and now you have to increase the price. The PlayStation 6 is supposed to come next year. We keep hearing that they're not going to push it back. They probably should, but it doesn't matter because we're told even if the AI boom stops, the prices for memory and RAM are not going to go back down. It's a shitty time to be a gamer. So this casual gamer boom, as I've said on our other podcast, Pause Menu Society, I think it's over. I think you're going to see specifically the dedicated gamers, the people who play games every day or every other day and stuff like that. Not people who jumped on during the pandemic and when Fortnite and Overwatch and all that stuff got pretty big. You're going to be back to the super, super duper dedicated gamers. And I'm not saying I want that. I'm just saying that's more than likely what's going to happen because of the state of the world that we're in. And corporate greed doesn't stop. Like we could all stop using AI and they'd be like, "Oh fuck, we invested all this money." But that's not gonna get them to lower the prices. A lot happened, and a lot is to blame for this. Donald Trump is to blame for this. The pandemic is to blame for this. Um, AI is to blame for this. Cryptocurrency is to blame for this. All of this has happened in the last 10 years. That's the thing people aren't getting. All of this has taken place in the last 3 years. 10 years, I'm sorry. If we go back 10 years from now, it is 2016. The PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One are on the market for 2 years at this point. The Nintendo Switch has not even released yet. It would not come to the following spring. We did not have to worry about any of this. None of it. I remember when finding out, I think it was the PlayStation 4 wouldn't play CDs or something like that. Like people were like, they're taking away CDs, and it's like, well, nobody uses them anymore. That's why, like, I remember when they had it I think they had Spotify on their day one. I can't remember. A lot changed, and everybody thought it was the worst thing in the world. The Move technology, because the Wii U was so successful. We had PlayStation Move and Xbox Connect, and it's like this was cool for a minute, but it's not really that cool anymore. And Sony's like, you can buy our camera, but we'll sell it separately. Microsoft's like, no, Connect is in the box, and that's why our console's $100 more. It's crazy that that was our biggest worry then. Fast forward 10 years, development cycles have gotten much longer, consolidation of assets in the gaming and as far as developers and publishers. We're living in a terrible time to be a gamer, but there's still some really cool games coming out, and that's what makes all of this so fucking hard. So, I don't know. Moving on to our top story. We knew this was coming, so let's just get to it. This is from Kevin LaChapelle, Vice President of the Xbox platform. Of course, the layoffs happened on Monday morning. I will get to Asher Sharma's email in a second. Kevin LaChapelle said, I will add my name to the list of people who were laid off today at Xbox. This ends my 37 years at Microsoft. I've worked in many different parts of the company, and I will say my fondest memories are of leading the team of very talented engineers who built the Xbox backward compatibility program. Sitting in the auditorium when Phil announced it at the E3 when Phil announced the program at E3 2015 was incredible. It really was. Like, we were all like, "Holy shit, are you serious?" The audience's reaction was unbelievable. I followed that with the leading team who created our cloud gaming product. I'm a firm believer that all entertainment will eventually become streamed to you wherever you are. I look forward to watching how Xbox evolves going forward, and I wish the team nothing but success. I will say that one person truly made a lasting impact on me while on Xbox. I want to thank Kareem Chowdhury for being the best manager I had at Microsoft, and ultimately someone I'm happy to say is a good friend. Um, this is really sad. It sucks, but it is what it is. So, how did we get here? How did this all start? This comes from The Verge. Microsoft closed out Summer Game Fest with a bang. The company's annual June showcase was packed with crowd pleasers like Halo, Gears of War, Fable, a translucent green Xbox, and even some pleasant surprises like Persona and crazy taxi games. It was the kind of event that harkened back to the boisterous days of E3 when the industry was in a healthier place and game reveals were cultural events, and they really were. E3 was amazing. It was also a sham. Just 3 days after the showcase, new Xbox CEO Asher Sharma warned of a reset at Microsoft's gaming division, which would require, quote, making hard choices. The weeks that followed were filled with reports of impending layoffs, studio closures, and game cancellations. Ninja Theory is reportedly one of the studios on the chopping block despite having just revealed a new game at Summer Game Fest. If all of this comes to pass, Xbox will be a shell of its former self. After muscling its way into the console space nearly 25 years ago, Microsoft's gaming division is at its lowest point ever, and the fallout from some disastrous decisions is going to get very ugly in the coming weeks and months. It wasn't always this way. With the arrival of the original Xbox in 2001, Microsoft seemed poised to be a viable contender in the space. With all of its resources helping it play catch up with the likes of Sony and Nintendo, major exclusives like Halo and a prescient foray into online play through Xbox Live helped to solidify the position for a time. But Microsoft flubbed the launch of the Xbox One in 2013 with an ill-fated push into non-gaming features like TV, and the brand has never really recovered. TV, Skype, um, the Connect, pushing it all. Yeah, it wasn't good. With the oft confusing Xbox Series X and S generation, the company only fell further behind. There are many reasons for this, but arguably the most damning was Microsoft's extremely expensive push into subscription services. On paper, it made some sense. Streaming services like Netflix were upending the film and TV landscape, so maybe the same could happen for gaming. Microsoft made some absolutely gigantic bets on this unproven future, spending billions of dollars to acquire studios and publishers in an attempt to build out a large library of content for Game Pass that would lure subscribers. While Game Pass proved popular initially, it's ultimately plateaued, which meant that Microsoft spent all that money on a business that didn't grow anywhere near as large as it expected. Service currently has around 30 million subscribers, while Microsoft had hoped to hit 100 million by 2030. This misguided play also coincided with the quote, "This is an Xbox marketing campaign," which suggested that Xbox wasn't a single console, but rather a suite of Game Pass capable devices, leading to even more confusion around the brand. How's it going? So, just how bad are things? As Sharma and Xbox Chief Content Officer Matt Booty wrote in the Reset memo, excluding Activision Blizzard King over the past 5 years, we've spent over $20 billion on ongoing investments in our content platform and hardware subsidy. Our annual revenue has declined nearly half a billion during that time. Going forward, this cannot continue. The Activision deal, meanwhile, cost $68.7 billion. The company spent all of that money just to make it even less clear what an Xbox is. This past February, there was a major shakeup at Xbox division. Former boss Phil Spencer, who oversaw the brand through Game Pass push and its many costly acquisitions, retired, while former president and COO Sarah Bond left the company. Despite some uncertainty around her lack of experience in the world of gaming, her prior role at Microsoft was head of the core AI division. Sharma's early days provided some cause for optimism. She appeared willing to listen to fans on things like backward compatibility and exclusives, scrapped the unpopular Microsoft gaming brand in favor of just Xbox, and moved the brand away from controversial AI features. She also made some strange and superficial changes like restyling Xbox from capital X BOX to all capital letters XBOX. Um, Asher Sharma, dude, oh my god. So here's where we are. Um, there's a lot, so fuck it. Let's just start. Let's start with the Xbox Game Pass. Xbox Game Pass has reportedly lost millions of users since 2024. Game Pass subscribers are down to 30 million, according to reports. That's according to the Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal, which claim that Game Pass currently has around 30 million subscribers, down from the 34 million that Microsoft last reported in 2024. According to court documents published during its legal battle around the Activision Blizzard acquisition, Microsoft had expected Game Pass to have around 77 million subscribers by this point in its long term strategy. However, as acknowledged by Xbox's new CEO Asher Sharma earlier this week, Game Pass has not grown at the pace Microsoft expected. Announcing significant layoffs across the gaming division earlier this week, Sharma specifically highlighted Game Pass as an area that had underperformed. Quote, to grow, we bet on Game Pass, multi-platform, and a broader portfolio of content, she said in the note to staff. While those businesses have created meaningful value, they did not grow at the pace we expected. As that happened, our core business weakened and we added more teams, more investment, and more time hoping for a better outcome, which did not come. So, yeah, they they didn't get to 77 million. Let me find Asha's email. Okay. So she did also tweet it. This was Monday morning. This is an important email I sent today to all employees at Xbox. Team, we're beginning the most significant restructure in Xbox history. After careful consideration, I've made the difficult decision to reduce our team by approximately 3,200 jobs throughout fiscal year 27. This will include approximately 1,600 role eliminations today, and in addition, 4 studios will leave Xbox to new management. I recognize that a year-long restructuring creates additional challenges. Unfortunately, it is not possible to make all the necessary changes in a single day, and I wanted to be direct about the scale. Pause. So, on Monday, 1,600 people were let go. An additional 1,600 people will be let go down the road. There are people that are sitting there wondering if they're going to still have a job. This is absolutely fucking crazy. She goes on to say, I know this is painful. These changes will directly affect people who have poured their creativity into building Xbox. Many joined us through the acquisitions, while others were recruited here or sought us out because they loved this industry and loved Xbox. Today's decisions do not reflect their talent or dedication. Our business today is not healthy. We are operating at margins that are 3 to 10 times lower than the comparable platform and publishing businesses. We entered Generation 9 with a smaller install base and a higher cost structure. We To grow, we bet on Game Pass, multi-platform, and a broader portfolio of content. While those businesses have created meaningful value, they did not grow at the pace we expected. As that happened, our core business weakened, and we added more teams, more investment, and more time, hoping for a better outcome. And now the industry is facing the most severe hardware crisis in its history. We must reset Xbox. First, we will reset our content portfolio. Since 2018, we have aggressively expanded our studio portfolio while the number of games created each month across the industry now outpaces the last 10 years combined. We now find ourselves competing not only with the largest publishers, but also with the smaller independent studios. It is neither possible nor desirable to own every great independent studio. We have also learned that we are not the best home for every type of studio. Jesus Christ. I read it on Monday, but reading it now, like, we're not a good place for you. And the worst part is, it's not her fault. It's not her fault. I have to say that. This is not her fault. Phil Spencer was willing to buy anybody who would be bought. Because let's be real. During the FTC trials and everything for the Activision Blizzard King, they had to give up their email. We now know that yes, they did try to acquire Sega. And Phil even basically he tried to acquire Nintendo. Phil told their team internally, Nintendo needs to understand their future lies with us. Do you know how crazy that sounds? You guys just got here 20 years ago. Nintendo brought video games back to the US when everybody was sick of them after the Atari bombing. Nintendo has Mario and Zelda. Their future lies with us. Are you fucking crazy, Phil? And the fucked up part is Phil is an actual gamer. Him not understanding how important Nintendo is insane. This is not Ash's fault. Did Double Fine belong with Microsoft? I don't know. That's not for me to say. I tried Psychonauts 2. I played like 30, 40 minutes. I was like, it's all right, but it's just not for me. When I saw Kiln, I said flat out, I don't know anybody who wants to play a pottery simulation game. This doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. She's not wrong. It's just crazy that she had to say it. Anyway, in a typical year, we lost 64 cents for every dollar we invested. Wow. As we reset Xbox, we will help independent creators succeed by providing open development tools and audiences to realize their vision. Compulsion Games and Double Fine Productions will return to management and transition to independent studios with their IP, catalog, and runway for the next games. Ninja Theory and Undead Labs have entered into terms to join new ownership with funding to complete and grow Senua and State of Decay 3. In France, Arcane's management is beginning required consultation with its work councils to review potential strategic options. We are also making reductions across other units and in some cases shifting investment to focus on higher priority projects. These changes vary in size across Activision, Bethesda, ZeniMax, Blizzard, King, Mojang, and Xbox Game Studios. None of our first party publicly announced games or projects are being canceled as part of these reductions. In addition, Mojang and King will now report directly to me. These two studios have increasingly become platforms and are our largest by monthly active players. They bring critical geographic, demographic, and differentiation to Xbox. So Mojang obviously makes the fuck is that game? The one with the block people. The fuck do they make? I have to Google it because I don't play the game and it's just not for me. Minecraft. Mojang makes Minecraft. I couldn't think of it because I don't play it. King makes Candy Crush. So a mobile game and a platform that everybody, well, a lot of kids, a lot of fucking kids, and a lot of other people play. She wants them to report directly to her. Your two biggest money makers. Mojang was acquired, and so was King. The reason you still even have a console is Halo, Forza, Gears, and Fable. So the fact that it's like, I know you're my kids, but these are my stepkids, and I want my stepkids. And it's not, again, it's not Asha's fault. It's not her fault. Secondly, we will reset our platform. We know that great technology gets better when it gets simpler, not bigger. Today, in some parts of the company, work passes through as many as 14 layers of management. That is a problem. She's not wrong. Our platform teams are 40% larger than they were at the start of this generation, even as our player base and playtime have declined. That complexity has slowed decisions, blurred accountability, and made it harder to deliver for players. As we reset Xbox, we will simplify. We will reduce management layers to no more than 5, and where possible, 3. We will deliver success through a flatter organization that is built around makers, individual contributors focused on building. Player coaches, leaders who remain deeply involved in the work while developing their teams, and directly responsible individuals. DRIs, they came up with their own acronym. Wow, okay. Who own key decisions and outcomes. And we will streamline how we work across our tools with a cleaner code base, shared services, and 50% reduced vendor spend. Third, we are resetting how we operate. As Xbox grew our headcount, we became more fragmented. Teams, studios, and functions often operate independently, and became harder to work towards a shared goal, making the right trade offs and get things done. For the first time, we are establishing a chief operating officer with end to end P&L responsibility across content, hardware, platform, and services. Helen Chiang has been promoted to this role and will report directly to me. Over nearly 2 decades at Xbox, Helen has helped build some of our most important businesses, from Xbox Live to leading Mojang and the Minecraft franchise. She will bring our businesses together under one operating model, making sure we make clear investments decisions, learn from our successes and failures, and hold ourselves accountable for results. Thank you, Dave McCarthy, who is retiring after 17 years with Xbox. Dave has played a defining role in building the platform that millions of players rely on every day, and has been a trusted partner through many of the biggest moments in Xbox's history. We wish him all the best. These changes are about a bigger future for Xbox, not a smaller one. The next decade of gaming will be large, more global, and more creative than anything we've seen before. This year, we'll invest as much in Xbox as we ever have, but we'll invest with greater focus, greater discipline, and greater clarity, all in service of making Xbox where the world plays and creates. I want Xbox to be one of the few companies that entertains more than a billion people each day and gives everyone the opportunity to create and connect. I know we can achieve this goal. Xbox has many of the most beloved franchises in entertainment history, talented studios around the world, and we will return to growth in 2027. History is full of companies that mistake longevity for inevitability. We will not be one of them. Asha or Asha, I don't fucking know. Yeah, dude, this is crazy. This is crazy. I get it. She inherited a shitstorm. Um, I It's very, very interesting. While I'm gonna take a break from that really quickly and get to something that Jason Schreier said today, and I've told you if Jason Schreier reports on it, I take it as gospel. Jason Schreier shared new information about the future of physical format on PlayStation. Sony considers that its digital player base is already large enough to do without those who continue buying games in physical format. The company will not change its retail distribution model. Stores will continue selling boxes, but these will only include a download code. Wow. So what's the point? Why would I go to a store and buy a download code that I could it's not a real midnight release. It just isn't. I can just go right to the fucking PlayStation store on the console and do it. This is stupid. This is stupid for anybody. Like, box art is cool. I get it. The GTA 6 box art is really cool. But do I really want to go into a Walmart, Target, Best Buy, etc. to buy box art with a digital code inside? Not really. I can do it from the chair right here at my desk, or from my couch downstairs in my living room. This is unnecessary. The company will not change its retail distribution model. Again, stores will continue selling boxes, but these will only include a download code. Currently, when Sony sells a first party physical game to a retailer, the latter gets around 30% of the sale price, which is $70. With the 100% digital format, Sony would keep all of those revenues. As a result, the company expects to significantly increase its profit margins. Additional information from other reports: Sony will be convinced that over time, most players will end up accepting the transition to a 100% digital ecosystem. They are right, unfortunately. Why? Because nobody makes physical games for PC anymore. Not that I know of. I could be wrong. If you buy a game from Steam, it is a digital download. If you buy a game from the Epic Game Store, it is a digital download. If you buy it from the Xbox PC app, it is a digital download. So if you're on PC, you're pretty much 100% digital anyway. Um, the company believes that users will continue supporting PlayStation even without the option to buy physical games. And they're not wrong again. I'm sorry. We love video games, and we will keep, if they make the game, we will play it. It's just like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. If you make it, we will play. That's just the way it is. Additionally, they consider that it's not necessary to maintain direct communication with fans about this decision, as they trust in the strength of the brand and the loyalty to their community. They're not wrong. It sucks, but they're not wrong. I will tell you that. But that doesn't make it right. It just doesn't make it right. While I'm kicking in Microsoft's back, I'm going to kick Sony's fucking back in too. Not everybody has great high speed internet. There are still many rural areas across the greater United States, Canada as well. And then you have places all around the world where they don't even have access to PlayStation Plus. so they can't play certain games without a PlayStation Plus login. You're fucking wrong. Whether you choose to accept it or not doesn't matter. You are still wrong. Wrong is two fucking left shoes. So yes, I'm gonna kick Sony's fucking back in as well. This was not a come to the party, watch Derek bash Microsoft thing. No. Sony's got to eat this shit too. Now, furthermore, I do not care to elaborate any further. No, I'm not going to fucking Walmart, Target, or Best Buy or GameStop to buy a box with a digital download code when I could just digitally download the fucking game from my PlayStation downstairs or right here. That makes no fucking sense. And I said this earlier in the show, let me fucking reiterate. Grand Theft Auto 6, the entry level is $80. Mario Kart World, which released a year ago, the entry level was $80. I think there's another $80 game out there already. Once we get to the next generation, $80 will be the standard price. Remember where you heard this first. All right? So back to what's going on in Microsoft. So, um, these studios. Bethesda boss tells staff it will restructure around our strongest franchises after cuts. This means Fallout, The Elder Scrolls, Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein. Alongside yesterday's confirmation of staff cuts at Microsoft's gaming division, Bethesda boss Jill Braff sent a note to her own staff detailing significant changes at the Elder Scrolls and Fallout publisher. According to IGN, Bethesda has been hit particularly hard by Xbox's layoffs, with staff across its development studios either already told they are cut or facing an uncertain future. In an email to the staff, Brass said that the cuts and strategy change reflect the realities of our industry and business and our responsibility to ensure Bethesda is operating from a more stable foundation. She wrote, quote, as we look ahead, we will meaningfully evolve how we operate. For decades, Bethesda has organized its business around the individual roadmaps of our largely independent development studios, supported by centralized publishing and corporate teams. This model enabled us to create some of the industry's most beloved franchises. However, rising player expectations, increasing development complexity, and a more competitive market have changed the economics of our industry. Braff continued to best position Bethesda for future growth. We are shifting from a planning model primarily centered around what's next for each independent studio to one that focuses on our strongest franchise and determining the content roadmap that best serves our players and Bethesda as a whole. From there, we'll align the right talent, technology, and resources across the organization to deliver on those priorities. You know where you could start? By not using the fucking Creation Engine 3, an engine that you used on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 generation of consoles, a generation that we're almost three full generations removed from. That's right, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3. You know what came after that? The Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. And you know what came after that? The Xbox Series X and S and the PlayStation 5. You're using an engine from consoles that released in 2005 and 2006, 20 years. So if you want to improve things, you can start by making a new engine. Let's start there. I shall continue. The studio head's comments follow a Bloomberg report claiming that Bethesda was set to undergo a significant overhaul and pivot to focus on its biggest franchises, Fallout, The Elder Scrolls, Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein. Bethesda's other notable game franchises include Starfield, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and Wolfenstein. Microsoft confirmed on Monday that Dishonored and Deathloop studio Arcane will be divested. However, despite a reported willingness to focus on its franchises, according to former employees posting on social media, id Software has been hit with a significant number of layoffs. In her email, Braff claimed that by working more closely across the organization, sharing expertise and capabilities, and focusing on our investments on the opportunities with the greatest potential, we believe we can better support our franchises and IP with meaningful long-term potential. She added, quote, this does not change the importance of an exceptional creative work, craftsmanship, and innovation, which is what makes Bethesda special. Our teams and our studios and teams' identities, talents, and expertise remain essential to our success. What changes is how we align those strengths, bringing them together around our franchises and IP, Bethesda, to position Bethesda for long-term growth and continued investment in our future. Well, here's the thing. You guys finished development on Starfield. Let's see. I remember when Fallout 76 came out. I want to say that was 2018. Let's just see. Fallout 4 is 2015. Fallout 76 was 2018. That's what I thought. Starfield was 23. So we're 3 years removed from that. Is it the Elder Scrolls or is it the next Fallout game? I don't know. It doesn't matter to me because I'm definitely not an Elder Scrolls fan. I love the Fallout TV show. I played Fallout 4 and I could not get I'm just like, this is a grind, and this game isn't as good as y'all would tell me and have me believe that it is. Also, I'm sorry, you're running an engine from a fucking from consoles that fucking launched 20 and 21 years ago. This looks like dog shit. Fallout 76 was a fucking disaster at launch. Y'all trust in Bethesda. So I see these trailers, I'm like, fuck. I don't trust Bethesda. I don't trust Todd Howard, but Starfield looks kind of interesting. I gave it a 7 out of 10. And for me, that's a good score considering I don't really like Bethesda games. But I'm like, this is not that bad. I find myself here having this conversation again. That engine has got to go. It's got to go. You've got to create another engine. Y'all have got to say something. Y'all have got to say something. Even if I'm not going to be the one playing it, there is no way, even though we know that that fucking Xbox showcase, as been said, was a sham, Bethesda did not show a new Fallout game, did not show a new Elder Scrolls game, did not show any content for Starfield. How do you fucking no show? Like, literally, explain to me how you fucking no show. It makes no sense. The people running Xbox are fucking morons. Whether they have a game ready to go in the next few years or something, you should have had something, even if it was a fucking cinematic. Hindsight is 2020. It was a good show, but I'm still sitting here like I know I'm not playing Fallout. I know I'm not playing the Elder Scrolls. I know I'm not going to play any more Starfield. But shouldn't you have something to show from Bethesda? Just a fucking big old nothing burger. It just doesn't make sense. I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. But it is what it is. And y'all, Xbox is totally fine. They're not. They're just not. So that brings us to our friends over at id Software, one of the stronger development studios under Bethesda ZeniMax. Xbox layoffs reportedly gut id Software's coding team and cut 60 to 70 developers from Obsidian. Scale of Microsoft's cuts are becoming clear. Quote, most of it, not all of id Software's coders, 60 to 70 Obsidian developers and more veteran developers have reportedly been laid off from Microsoft as the scale of this week's big Xbox cuts become clear. On Monday, Microsoft announced a restructuring that will result in thousands of people losing their jobs. While initial headlines were focused on the sale of Undead Labs and Ninja Theory and Double Fine and Compulsion Games regaining independence, excuse me, the scale of Xbox's significant wave of job losses is still taking shape. According to Kotaku, around 60 to 70 developers were fired from Obsidian, which included producers, artists, designers, programmers, Q&A testers, and writers. The Outer Worlds art director Daniel Alpert, who served at the studio for over 2 decades, took to LinkedIn to confirm he's part of the cuts. Quote, this morning, after 21 years at Obsidian Entertainment, my journey with the studio came to an end. While this wasn't the outcome I hoped for, I can't help but feel incredibly grateful for the time I spent there. Obsidian wasn't just a workplace. It was where I built a career, formed lasting friendships, and had the opportunity to work alongside some of the most talented and passionate people in the industry. A.K. Fado, a narrative designer at the studio, also confirmed they had been affected. Quote, I'm very sorry to announce that I was one of the devs affected by the Obsidian layoffs today, they wrote on LinkedIn. Being able to write for the studio whose work pulled me out of a dark place with my writing and reminded me of why I loved it was a beautiful dream. It took me places I had never imagined and some I had in the small, ambitious way a child watches credits roll and swears to someday be up there. Elsewhere, it's been claimed by 3D Realms founder Scott Miller that most, if not all, of its software coders have been let go. This claim comes as Microsoft plans to restructure Bethesda around the studio's strongest franchises. This post was about the oh my god. So it is somebody playing Doom like back in the day, like 1996 Doom shit. And you can see the double barrel shotgun, and there's like a pixelated person standing there, and the caption on the tweet says, "I'm heartbroken." This person then retweeted their own. They have like a Duke Nukem 96 badge. Uh, this person retweeted their own picture and then said, "This post was about the insider news I got this morning that a majority of id studios being laid off, including most, if not all, coders." According to Bloomberg, Bethesda plans to focus on its biggest franchises: Fallout, The Elder Scrolls, Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein, which we've said at least 3 times already in this episode. Jeff Gardner, a former project lead at Bethesda Game Studios, took to social media to claim that he had heard 95 developers that lost their job at id. Quote, "I don't have this confirmed, but we've heard 35 folks at Bethesda Game Studios lost their jobs to layoffs today. Very sad to hear and very rough for a studio that had just one round of layoffs, a very small one in the last 25 plus years." Then he says, "Just heard 95 at id. This week, Bethesda and id Software will release the Doom the Dark Ages Revelation, an expansion to 2025's Doom the Dark Ages." Wow, crazy, right? Um, so there's this other part I read. Oh, this is from Jeff Keighley. So Jeff Keighley tweeted this. Roughly 50% of the team at id Software has been laid off as part of the Xbox layoff. The Doom Dark Ages Revelations launches today. Somebody said we've been gutted and we're basically a support studio. I can't find it, but I did see that tweet. This is what happens when you overextend and do stupid things. Remember, we kept telling people consolidation is a bad idea, and they did not listen. Now we're sitting here, 3,200 people are going to be without jobs, 1,600 as of Monday. And then these other 1,600 have to sit there and wait for the other shoe to fall. Imagine being in that position and then thinking, fuck it, I'll update my resume on LinkedIn, do this, that, and the third, and get onto the studio elsewhere. But you can't do that. Why? Because we're in a very bad position as far as gaming goes. Development costs are extremely high. Memory for consoles is extremely high. Um, Console prices themselves are extremely high. So everybody's looking to cut costs and cut back. So do you know how fucking hard it is to find a job right now? Like very fucking hard. This I don't know. I don't know. This is bad. IO Interactive obviously just did the James Bond First Light game. Remember, it was rumored that they were working with Microsoft on something. IO confirms it will continue Project Fantasy independently after Xbox split. Project Fantasy is an RPG that has been in development for some time at IO Interactive. Last week, amidst uncertainty at Microsoft, which this week led to thousands of job cuts, IO announced that it ended its relationship with the financial backer of Project Fantasy, later confirmed to be Microsoft. Now, in a statement, the 007 First Light developer has confirmed it will continue working on the project. Quote, "Following the end of our external finance partnership on Project Fantasy, IO Interactive has regained full ownership of the project and our IP. We will continue to develop and fund it independently amongst our other projects." Later in the statement, IO describes the changes taking place across the developer, including the recent closure of IO Instant Full Studio. Quote, "With this context, we have to find a new balance for long-term future of the studio, focused on the success of our main internal core titles instead of external projects and potential mobile game derivatives. This has meant making changes as well as proposing changes across our studios, the closure of our Istanbul studio, and starting to process to part ways with colleagues who have been a meaningful part of what makes IO Interactive what it is. Our immediate focus is on supporting those affected as best we can through this period. If you are aware of any opportunities within your network, we would be genuinely grateful for any support you can offer to any of the talented people across IOI who might be looking for new opportunities. These are hard but necessary decisions in order to retain the long term future of IO Interactive as one of the very few fully independent AAA developer and publisher, as well as to give Project Fantasy the best possible foundation to succeed under our own passion and direction. Project Fantasy is a game, a world, an IP that we are wholly committed to, and we cannot wait to share the love with you. In April 2021, Windows Central first claimed that IO had teamed up with Microsoft to work on a new Dragon themed IP, which the platform holder was expected to publish as a first party Xbox exclusive. Then in 2023, IO itself confirmed that it was working on an online fantasy RPG. Quote, "We are building a new world, a new IP, an online fantasy RPG," the company said. "A world and a game built from the core to entertain players and expand for many years to come." So it looks like they're still going to do it. They're just going to do it without the financial backing of Microsoft. Um, what do you guys think? Like, what are we doing? Is this going to be fun? Is gaming still going to be fun for us as gamers? As I stated, the casuals, they're gonna be out. They're not going to pay for the next console. They're just not. They're not gonna care that much. There are some of us who have done this generally our entire lives. I've been gaming since we walked to the corner store on our street in North St. Louis, and I would watch my mom play Mrs. Pac-Man and smoke everybody, and then she would pick me up and let me kind of move the joystick around, even though she didn't put any quarters in the machine. I've been playing video games a long time. I was 4 when we left North St. Louis, so this is 1986, so 40 years. 40 years, and I'm 44. What is everybody thinking? How do you guys feel? How does everybody feel? That's the question. Um, it's a very, very sad state of affairs right now. Some people wanted this. Some people totally wanted this. They wanted Microsoft to be able to wipe Sony off the map. Yeah, we got Activision Blizzard King. We got we got fucking we got Bethesda. Like, we're gonna kill Sony now. Effectively, you killed your own business. Sony did a fucking dumb thing as well, acquiring Bungie. Acquiring Bungie to assess your online portfolio, and then Bungie missing their sales metrics and then having the nerve to tell you, oh, so yeah, we looked at what Naughty Dog did. The Last of Us Online actually looks really cool. You're probably not going to make any money off of it, but it looks really fucking cool. So, I ask you all again, was it worth it? Because for me, the answer is no. We've seen the price. The price of the Xbox consoles were going to go up anyway because of the RAM situation. That's a given. Same with the PlayStation and Nintendo. That I understand. But I'm also looking at all the people making AI pictures of their pets and shit like that. Like, hey, this is kind of your fucking fault. Actually, not even kind of. It is your fault. Um, that is totally understood. But the price of Game Pass increasing after Microsoft sit up there and said it wouldn't if they were allowed to acquire Activision Blizzard King and all that shit. Yeah, just sat up there and fucking lied. We're not going to close any studios. That's not going to happen. Guess what fucking happened? Studios got closed. So all they did was sell everybody a bunch of beans, but there's no beanstalk to climb. There's no beanstalk. You're not climbing a beanstalk and finding some crazy giant up there and giant golden eggs and all that stuff. That's not going to happen. All Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, they're all responsible for whatever's going on there. Like, I love my Switch too, don't get me wrong, but to say it's on par with an Xbox Series X or a PlayStation 5, let's be fucking for real. Come on now. Like, let's be for real. But you charge at launch the price of what those consoles cost when they launched. Gaming is in a terrible place. And it sucks because we got Wolverine coming. We got Final Fantasy Resonance. We got Final Fantasy VII Revelation. We got Grand Theft Auto 6. We got Halo Campaign Evolved. We have so much coming, so much to be thankful for. But there are people who played some of these games. I remember playing Final Fantasy VII. They remade it. Oh, I want to play it. I got to go get a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox or a Switch or a PC. Cool, I'll price it out. Wait, this is how much this costs? It's just not a good time to be a gamer if you're not already in the ecosystem. If you're somebody that has to buy brand new hardware right now, I sympathize with you because it's not a great fucking time to be a gamer in your position. For me, it's fine. But there's certain caveats, like the EA fucking microtransactions that we discussed at the top of the show. So, how do you feel? Do you really feel it's a good time to be a gamer? Probably not. Don't know what to tell you guys. It really sucks. Hold your heads up. I'm here for you. If you're listening to this on the free feeds, come on over to Patreon, where we do this thing on a weekly basis. Patreon.com/Derrick Lamon Experience. It's in the episode details. I'm going to end this like I end everything else, of course. Believe in yourself first and foremost, because if you don't believe in yourself, of course, nobody else will believe in you. As always, my name is Derrick Lamon Jackson, and that is my time. Y'all have a good one. See you around.